here. That's why he was there.
Back in Libya, I want to spend a few more minutes, and then we're going to get back to the storm. What I showed you earlier, I want to show again. Here's what Hillary Clinton said to Charles Woods, the father of the slain SEAL Tyrone Woods. Listen carefully.
She made this statement to me that, first of all, she was sorry, but then she said, we will make sure that the person who made that film is arrested and prosecuted. And when she said that, you know, I could tell.
Okay, we don't need any more. That's the important part here. I want to bring in a couple of guests. Patrick Poole, he is the national security and terrorism correspondent for PJ Media, and Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Let me go right to Patrick first. Friday night, Patrick, Hillary put out a statement calling for the release of an Iranian filmmaker. You want to talk about pot calling the kettle black. Explain this.
Exactly, and it's they put it out at 11 o'clock at night on Friday. The statement from Hillary Clinton attacking Iran and calling for the release of this filmmaker at the very same time that Nakula, the filmmaker of this Innocence of Muslims video that was posted on YouTube, is still sitting in prison out in Los Angeles County. And Kerry Pickett at the Washington Times reported that last week that his next court hearing isn't until 2 days after the election next week.
Okay. Congressman, let me bring you in on this too, and let's just have a conversation. State Department here has claimed that they sent a 6-man rapid reaction force from Tripoli, but nobody on the ground in Benghazi has any information of that.
It all goes back to this cover-up. I mean, for heaven's sake, you pointed out, they do a commercial where they blame the video, and we had absolutely nothing to do with the video. To continue the cover, they arrest an American and put him in jail because he executed or utilized his First Amendment rights and made a video. I mean, this is outrageous. I mean, people are losing their liberty, and when she kept using the word absolutely, absolutely, the truth is, this administration did absolutely nothing to help our people in harm's way. And it comes back, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe when he found out that he did something or gave an order to let's protect him, but obviously that had to have been so much later.
No, it's not possible. We know he was meeting with the Secretary of Defense in the Oval at 5 o'clock. The first cable that went to the Situation Room, to the Department of Defense, and to the State Department said that it was under attack, there was problems. So he was, 3 minutes later, he was in there. Patrick, if I'm not mistaken, all of our sources say it is required by law that if an ambassador comes under attack or an embassy or something like this, the president must be notified. True or false?
Exactly. And we know that the president was meeting with his national security staff in the White House in the Situation Room at 5 o'clock. So it's
okay. Well, hang on just a second.
Yep.
The congressman said he's supposed to, and I looked at you, Louis, and said, "Well, then somebody needs to be fired if he hasn't been."
That is the key. That is the key. If this president did not know, then somebody needs to be fired. And because our people were in harm's way being killed, somebody ought to. This is criminally negligent homicide.
If he doesn't know, he should be fired.
He should.
Because he's got an administration out of control.
So who's making these calls? Valerie Jarrett? Who is making the calls? Who was it that answered that call at 3 in the morning if it wasn't
President
him?
Obama did. I'll bet you
President. He voted present over and over while our people were being killed.
Yes.
And heroes like Woods and Doherty were out there fighting off the hordes, expecting help from their country, and this president did not bring it.
Patrick, do you think the president was the one that made the call?
Well, in fact, in his interview last week with the Denver TV station, that's exactly what he said. He said, I gave the directive, but it doesn't appear that there was any action taken on the basis of any directive. He claimed that he took action, but there was no action. And I think that's what really needs to get to the bottom of is, who gave what order and when, because it doesn't appear that actually happened, that the White House issued no orders to bring in the...
But doesn't this fit with the way the president handled Osama bin Laden?
Yes,
he knew 6 months in advance while they were planning. When they told him we have him, he said, I have to sleep on it. This is completely consistent.
He votes president over and over. I spent all night reading transcripts from crew members, like from the C-130 that was watching our Chinook in August of last year with all those SEAL Team 6 members being shot down. And they're saying in their testimony a week later or 2 weeks later, well, because of the rules of engagement, we couldn't shoot these people that we saw that might shoot them down. We couldn't shoot them when they were shooting down our Chinook, and they watched them come down from the tower, and we're not allowed to shoot because of the rules of engagement.
So let me ask you this. Petraeus came out, and I thought a very interesting statement over the weekend. And Petraeus said, if anybody gave the order to not assist, it did not come from anyone at the CIA. That's pretty much throwing the block right back to the White House.
It is, but then we find out, publicly now, it was a briefing of members on Capitol Hill where he followed the narrative that it was a video, it was just a protest that went wrong, when he knew at the time that wasn't the case.
Patrick, let me give you the final word. What do you think is going on with Petraeus? Do you have any idea? That's an odd... This is a guy that everybody trusts.
Right. Well, and on the other hand, you have Panetta, who said that we would not send men into harm's way without knowing what was going on, even though we have forces like Delta Force, who was in Italy waiting to be deployed,
right.
Who apparently weren't deployed. There are so many questions, and the establishment media's not asking them. So hats off to those who are.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Got to go back, and we're going to go to the storm and what you can do about it and what's really coming your way next.